Who am I talking with?
Hi, my name is Ishan Girdhar. I'm the founder and CEO of Privva.
Privva?
Yeah.
Privva. What does Privva do?
So Privva really helps manage the security assessment process throughout the entire value chain in the legal industry. So clients are asking law firms a lot of security assessment questionnaires, how they're protecting that data, so we help them respond to those assessments. And then we also help law firms do security evaluation reviews of all the third-party vendors. So all the vendors in this room today, they may touch networks, they may touch data, and so we just want to make sure that they have the right measures in place, whether it's security policies, procedures, architecture to protect that data.
So guys like you are the cause of why I get contacted by all these major law firms on all these privacy and security issues.
It is. But I'm not the problem. It's
it is the laws.
Yeah, we're just trying to make the process easier. So it's the cost of doing business. So we're trying to actually bring it on the platform, so that if you answer one of those questionnaires once and you see the same question over and over again, we can actually duplicate those answers, so you're not starting from scratch every time.
And you must create a scoring system on risk.
Yes, yeah.
It was my CTO. He goes, the reason that we're completing this is that the software is generating some type of scoring, and that it's allowing us to grade at a certain level.
Exactly.
And I said, interesting. I asked him. I said, well, how do you know that? He goes, well, that's just the way it's done. And I was this 29 and 30-year-old.
Yeah, no, I mean, it ultimately what it's trying to do is it's producing a risk score. Yep. It's giving tools to the law firms or the clients to say, all right, where are our biggest risks and vulnerabilities? And so it's not about just not working with the bottom half,
right,
but it's about putting in a remediation plan to help you get better. They don't want to stop using vendors for a particular reason, but there's a responsibility to protect that data.
No, and that's what it really on the
back
insurance side too. I mean, they're going to require certain things. How'd you get into this? I mean, it's not like you're just walking down the street and say, okay, I'm going to do this for law firms.
No, so funny story is that several years back, I actually had a healthcare technology company, and I was selling software to hospitals, and I had to fill these out over and over again, and it nearly crippled my business.
Really?
And so it was a significant challenge, and as a startup, we were generally not the most secure, so we had a lot of challenges selling to hospitals, and kind of went back to my old day job, and after that startup, moved on, and we just saw more and more of this security assessment process happening, and it was all using Microsoft Word documents or Excel documents, and we realized we took a business approach, and we realized this process is not scalable, it's not efficient for anybody, and so we actually just said, let's go build a product. We got some seed capital, and we hired a team of developers, and we were off and running. So June of 2016, we started the company. We launched in August of 16 with our first MVP, and actually got my first client. I met him 2 years ago today at ILTA, and we got them on board 3 weeks later.
That's pretty good. An MVP, minimal viable product.
Correct.
Yeah, and so folks understand it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be viable.
And if you ever think it's perfect, then you're failing. So one of the lessons I've always been taught is that if the developers are ahead of you, then you're failing as a business. So I always have to be thinking 5 steps ahead of the developers, because I'm getting client feedback. And so we always got to be iterating, and it never will be perfect. And if it is perfect, that's when somebody wants to acquire you.
And it's tough inside a technology thing, because your technology people are light years in front of you on the tech and the development thinking, but you're out there with the eyes. You keep your head up. You got to keep your ears open as to what the market is out there. So you got to steer that thing.
It's all about listening to your clients, getting feedback, prioritizing that, seeing how it impacts not just the clients that told you about it, but is it something that's relevant for the entire spectrum, or is it something that's only required for a small select? Because you all have a backlog. It's about redefining the backlog based off of your entire universe of clients, and I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned was you can't just be reactionary to your biggest client. That whale, we all chase for the whale, but the whale could actually destroy your business because you may be creating something that just isn't applicable for anybody else, and that's one of the biggest issues.
At that point, you become an agency.
Exactly. and then it just kind of goes back to like the Amazon and the Walmart. They just start saying, you know what? Oh, by the way, now we're going to cut your price. We're going to cut your price, because they know they own you, the product, and the company, and then you're at the mercy of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You can produce something. If they want to go off and go do this other thing and make you redo it, you got to say, hey, I have this system and this solution and this SaaS-based solution. It covers 90% of everything that people need. We studied it.
Yeah.
If you want that next 10 or 15%, we're probably not going to be able to do that.
And that's an awesome point.
That's hard to do.
It's an awesome point. It's something we're actually going through right now. we have a new product that we're looking at, and we told the prospective clients, I can get you 80% of the way there, but you're going to have to adapt your methodology a little bit to come back to us. We can't create the perfect solution.
Make sure we keep you on the camera. It's all right. Go ahead.
I said we can't create the perfect solution. Everybody's got their own flavor and methodology.
Right.
So we really think about risk is contextual. So everybody defines risk a little bit different. So I can't create one model, but I can create a framework and allow them to sort of drag and drop. So we're trying to modularize that and let them bring their own touch.
When you went from you had this other business, you're doing this stuff, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to quit. And I'm going to go do this thing. How do you support yourself in this gap period? And it can be a gap period for a long time.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I'm very fortunate. I have some really great partners.
Okay.
Some very successful people who have supported me both strategically and financially.
How'd you find them?
Actually, one of them is an old friend, childhood friend, who's a very successful entrepreneur, and his business partner. And we've tried many different things, and we've worked on different projects together. And they went on to greater things, and they said, "Hey, let's really try to put our resources behind this idea." And we've raised a Series Seed round from these partners, as well as some professional investors, entrepreneurs, VC funds. So that's really been funding the business. And
it sounds like it's a lot of relationships.
It's all relationships. It's all relationships. Yeah. No. And
I'm not sure that the young entrepreneurs, when they go start and they got to develop the perfect technology and they got to get this technology done, and if they put descriptions around it, that somehow it's going to sell.
Yeah.
And it takes knowing people, asked to be introduced. Just spend the time with people.
Yeah. No, and that's one of it. And I think that one of the lessons that I've learned is you got to be able to sell the product before you have the product. So, I always say I was doing sales pitches of Privva from the conference room of my old job, and I had a couple leads that really were starting to materialize purely off of a presentation that we made and mock-ups that we made in word art. And that's when I decided to take the leap. It was not, I really believe if you can't sit there, those early adopters are buying you. They're buying the belief that you're going to build a successful product, and that's how this actually really started.
The belief is so true, because I tell the team, I said, well, wait a second, it doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't have a color printer, and I didn't have a letterhead, so I had to put the 7 elements of what I provided on a fake logo.
Yeah.
And I put that on, and they put it on an overhead projector at a major law firm, and I was kind of laughing, but it led to another meeting, and they decided to proceed with a huge firm.
Yeah. Well,
but I didn't have it yet. Like you, I did not have it yet.
Well, and if you are being truly innovative, the perfect model doesn't exist, and so they don't even know what perfect is, and that's important.
Yeah. What was along the way? There had to be even on this pretty exciting in a short period of time to pull the team together, have the investment team together, the support and counsel of them. Were there low points along the way where you go, oh wow, I just don't know, is this going to make it? What if it doesn't make it? Are there low points?
As good as bad as it sounds, I mean, I always say, we're a day away from success and we're a day away from failure, and there definitely was some low points. There's a sales cycle process with every company, and so that period from February to June, which is what post budget, everybody came through. December, January were great, and then February hit and people just stopped taking your phone call, and for 5-6 months we just didn't make any progress. You really start to question yourself. I mean, there's going to be slow periods. You just got to stay positive. You got to stay with it and believe in yourself, believe in the product. And when you have those low points, just make sure you go back and service those clients that you have, because renewals are the most important thing. And so that's what we really focused on, was refining when we realized that there was not a sale going to happen.
When was the one point where you said, this is going to work? I mean, because you go from doing something else, this idea, you're working together, and all of a sudden it clicks and you go, wow, this is going to work. I know what you're saying. I still don't know that day. I still haven't had that day. If somebody would ask me, I'd be sitting there too. But I do remember, when a couple checks came in from some large companies, I go, wow, maybe this is going to fly.
Yeah. No, I can't say that there's a day that we sort of had that. We sort of say hey, when we go win a big client, we sort of don't even take that step of congratulating, our mindset is, all right, well, how do we double down with that? If we go get a big client, that means there's 2 more that should be reference clients out of that. So we're starting to get traction. We're getting into the corporate world. So the legal industry has been a great stepping stone for us. I mean, these are some of the most critical vendors that the corporates have. And now we're starting to get into the large Fortune 100, Fortune 500. We're being asked to participate in RFPs, and that's really what has the team really excited. And I think we're poised to really.
How many people involved right now?
So we have about 10 people right now.
Which you do a lot of stuff. When you think about 10 people, you cover a lot of ground. What would you tell an entrepreneur just thinking about starting today? Biggest lesson?
Biggest lesson is, if you're thinking about an idea, come up with a plan, stick with it. Don't pivot too quickly. There's going to be a period that you're going to go through some adoption, lessons learned, road bumps. You gotta persevere and really challenge yourself. And the one thing I will definitely say, it's not luck. It's hard work.
It's hard work.
It is really, really hard work, and it's all about what you put into it.
Thank you very much.
Kevin, appreciate it.
That was great.